Hey, y'all do know that some of y'all are in the South, but you're not really from the South. Like, you're not really in the South. Let me explain it to you. So, what I've found in my travels before we get started with the show, because I got a really, really good show for y'all today, and I'm gonna try to keep it condensed within 2 hours. That way, I can go out and about, and I can go and have fun and enjoy the scenery and everything like that. I am still dialed into corporate America. Yes, I do still have my laptop over there, and so I'm working. I'm getting we get all bags. We get all bags over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. All right, so we don't miss out on nothing. So I got my corporate laptop over there and I'm kicking. But what I found in my travels is that some parts of the South is not really the South. I'll give you an example. Miami is not really the South. Miami is New York with better weather, better women, and a greater environment with no public transportation. That's all Miami is. It's phenomenal weather. It's super priced. It's a lot of migrants over there, and so it's just like New York. It's New York South. That's all Miami is. Everybody in New York that wind up getting money, and then they get to a certain part in their life, they move down to Miami. Everybody over in New Orleans or Texas, when they get a certain type of money, they move over to Miami because they want the tax breaks, but they still want the same thing from Miami. Shout out to Miami-Dade County Clerk of the Courts. Shout out to my girl Mika in the building. That's all. That's all Miami is. Miami is New York South. It is not the real South. Houston is not the real South. Houston is not the real South. Houston is Atlanta, Atlanta in Texas, but Atlanta is not even a real South either. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no real Southern hospitality in Houston and Atlanta and none of that. It's not the same. So now when you go to like a Nashville, even though that's kind of more central in the United States, Nashville, I will say um, Alabama, Mississippi, um, those type of places, those are more southern. Like those are the real South. You can go over to Memphis, even though it got a whole bunch of crime. You get some really good barbecue and stuff. But all of the Cuban food over in Miami, all of the transplants over in Houston, that's not the real South. You can forget that. You get they don't even think conservative and they don't even have the same values. They don't even go to church like Southern people go to. You know what I'm saying? So all of these people that's in the South technically, but they've made it into the North and then they've like changed it into being something completely different. Shout out to my girl Q in the building. That is not the real South. If you want to see the real South, come over here to Biloxi, Mississippi, go over to Arkansas, go over to Alabama, go over to Nashville, go to somewhere like that. Don't go to Atlanta. Don't go to Orlando. Don't go to Miami. Don't go to Houston. Don't go to Dallas. Those are not the real South. That is not the real South. And I stand on that. I stand on that 1000%. Real talk. If you go to those places, go to New Orleans. New Orleans is the real South. Louisiana is the real South. A lot of these liberal cities over in Texas, you can forget it, bro. That's not the real South. Anyways, neither here nor there. Don't want to cause a big old fuss because I know that y'all be acting a certain type of way. But y'all out here South light. Houston is not the real South. No, it's not. Absolutely, positively not. If you go over to Houston, Houston is Atlanta. And if y'all consider Atlanta the real South, ain't even no real Southern hospitality in Atlanta. Everybody in Atlanta is not even from Atlanta. Everybody in from Atlanta is not even from Atlanta. That's a fact. So let me go ahead and get started with the show. Shout out to everybody with the early super chats. I want to give a shout out to my dog, Mike that dude. Shout out to Mike that dude riding out with me. I also want to give a shout out to my dog, Mike. Yeah. Let me tell you something, Azriel. You said a Detroiter stands on not knowing what the South is. Interesting. You know what's funny is that when I go over to a lot of y'all cities, right? And I travel like crazy. I'm always everywhere. I go to y'all cities and I talk to the people in those cities, and most of the people in those cities don't even know nothing about their city. They don't know how to get downtown. They don't know how to get around town. They don't know where any of the happening spots are. None of that. I'm amazed at the amount of people, since y'all want to go here, I'm amazed at the amount of people that live in these cities that's in the South, and y'all don't even know nothing about any of the cities in the South. Most of y'all have never even left y'all own real cities. If we just really want to go there, most people eat at Wendy's and McDonald's. They don't go to no real southern spaces. They eat at they high end restaurants as Red Lobster and Roof Chris. They just be talking. Oh, I'm in the South. Stop it, fam. You in Atlanta light. You in Atlanta light. Oh no, I really do be with the locals. You know why? Because the people in the real Miami and the Opalaka and even the people over in Coral Gables and Little Haiti and all of that, they don't be on Miami Beach. They don't go to the beach. The people in Miami do not be at the beach. Y'all be going there, oh man, I want to be in the design district. Y'all don't really know nothing about the other restaurants. Y'all don't know nothing about Overtown. You don't know nothing about what it's people down in Miami that moved to Miami that don't know nothing about the real Miami. They just be talking. They don't know nothing about the real Miami. And so they think that just because they're hanging out on South Beach or they find a hot club or they over in Brickell, y'all over there hanging in Brickell and dancing all the time and trying to get into the latest club, that's not even the real Miami. And so when I visit these cities and I'm actually engulfed in it and I go and visit and I see the spaces, see, when I go over here, when I'm in Mississippi, we actually be out in the real neighborhoods. We over and seeing what really people is living like. I was over there flicking it up with a lot of people. I'm not impressed with the fact that a lot of y'all be talking about y'all in the South, but y'all not really in the South. The Brickell ain't Miami. Miami Beach ain't Miami. South Beach is not Miami. Don't nobody go to South Beach that's actually from the city. Y'all don't know nothing about these real cities. So when I see this, and I see people always talking this nonsense, that's like people that go over to Mexico but only stay on a resort or on a resort. Now it's safer for you to only stay on a resort, but you don't know the real Mexico. Like you don't know real cities that's in Mexico. I'm gonna go to LA, but I'm only hanging out. You don't know nothing about the real. Y'all don't know nothing about these cities. Y'all visitors. It's people that live in these spaces that's just visitors in these spaces. I know more about some of y'all spaces than y'all know about y'all spaces. Conversely, you can't come to my city. I can name all local restaurants. Not none of this stuff that come over that y'all be going over into and they really chain restaurants that just so happen to open a location here. I went to one city and they said, hey, have you been to this Chick-fil-A? Yeah, I've been to every Chick-fil-A in every city. Like, y'all don't know no local restaurants. Y'all don't know no real people that's really out here doing it. Y'all not even connected like that. So I'm not impressed when people say that they from somewhere and they not really from somewhere. That don't mean nothing to me. You don't really know the city. You go to work and you go home. You don't know. You don't be in the streets. You don't know nothing about who really out here doing it. Y'all go to the popular spots that's popular on Instagram or TikTok. You find a TikToker that tell you your next local restaurant, and that's where y'all be at. Y'all don't really be out here in the streets like that. Stop it, bro. Bro, you went on a cruise to Jamaica. You was in Jamaica for 6 hours. I've been to Jamaica. No, you haven't. You went to a cruise that made a stop in Jamaica and got gas and you know what I'm saying, and restocked up on all of the food so that they can feed y'all on the water. You ain't been to Jamaica? You don't know nothing about Jamaica. You don't know nothing about Ocho's Rios. You don't know nothing about being in the real mountains. You ever went to Jamaica where you go through the mountains and it's people that's literally taking up residence in the mountains? You ever actually kicked it with the people and the locals? I have. I really have in real life. When we go to Jamaica, we really in Jamaica. We really out there with the locals. And so I'm not really impressed with these people that say that, oh man, I went to here. No, you didn't. You made a stop. You went to the space that they told you to go to, which is good for you. Stay there. But you don't really travel. You don't really know nothing about culture. You ain't really immersed. And so it's difficult for you to speak about the things that's really happening in the streets because you not really connected with the real people because you scary. You scared to go out in your own city. You scared to go out and hang out in your own city. All of y'all down in the South, you don't know nothing about the South. Y'all in Dallas, you don't know nothing about Dallas. Not the real Dallas. Anyways, so please don't get me started. Because I probably know more about some of y'all city than y'all do. I probably know more about y'all city than y'all do. Don't tell me you went on a cruise ship and then you went to your city. I'm not impressed.